Hey guys, ViscoseComb24 here, bringing you a real quick redstone video. Today I'm going to be showing you all this. It is the current smallest 7x7 funnel door on Bedrock Edition. As you can see, it all closes. When I go on over to the backside, you can see it does not look the same as the front. I didn't give it a backside, but this does give you a chance to see the slime structures I use for the layout. When I go back on over to the front side and flick the lever again, you can see it also all opens. The animation is very ugly on both the closing and the opening. Speed isn't very good, but I think it's alright for the size. This thing is a 1-block improvement on my previous 7x7 funnel door, and if you've seen that video, you might have noticed it was titled Tide Smallest. This is now the new smallest, with a block off the bottom. This thing is 13 blocks wide, 13 blocks tall, and 5 blocks deep, so it has a volume of 845 blocks. It was pretty difficult to get to this size, but I'm going to be explaining the layout, like its logic and how I came up with it, as well as a few other things in terms of the wiring. So I guess let's get into that. This right here is the layout that I used to make the quadruple possible. It looks kind of weird, but it's really just the layout for the folded quadruple in the compacted 12x12 double cave door I made an explanation video on a little while ago. Just rotated 90 degrees. So the first move is pretty interesting, and otherwise it's very standard. What I did was I sort of simulated piston spitting, as you can see right here. You might think that this piston has just spat out its blocks, but that's not what's happening. So first thing that happens when you power this block is both of these pistons extend. This one can't because of that obsidian, but this one can, updating that observer, pulsing that block, and powering this piston right here. So it extends, but as we've already established, this piston right here has been powered from the very beginning, and now it can extend, so it extends right underneath as this thing is extending, and by the time this sticky piston tries to retract, it'll be trying to retract this piston head. And as we all know, piston heads cannot be moved, so it just has to leave all its blocks behind. That's how I got the first extension in. The rest is pretty standard. We have our extender fold in on itself, as you can see right there. Then a double piston extension, and then our redstone block storage, and it is now pushed up 4 blocks. For the retraction, flick that, and then pull those down. Do a double piston retraction right here, unfold the extender, and then you can either depower that or do what I had to do and repulse this piston. I wasn't able to keep these 2 pistons right here powered the entire time just to wait for the final retraction, so I just ended up sending in a repulse right here. So now that we've seen the logic for the extender fold, I guess I should just get onto the wiring bits that I wanted to show. So you can see right here is a little bit of the wiring for the folded part. First thing that happens is that gets pushed in, then depower this, and you'll see the extension happens very nicely. And so what I've done here, let me just really quickly retract it, is I've set it up so that when this thing retracts, it will depower that and power that, so this torch turns on and that one turns off. This thing extends, powering our bottom piston while it's in this position, and then 3 ticks later, this thing will turn on, powering our second piston when it's at the floor level. I had a piston here, as you can tell, or as you can see, and I had been initially planning on using that for the retraction, but it can just be a block, so this entire little area here isn't really necessary. But as you can see, if I remove this and then replace it with a piston like it had initially been, there we go, then I push our piston in there. If I were to power this, you can see the top piston extends first rather than the bottom, and this is actually reliable. That top piston will always extend before the bottom one. So to fix this, I set up this 3-tick repeater, and what's convenient about this is that even with the piston there, you'll see when I flick that, it'll extend, depower. They will depower in the wrong order, but if you just give it a pulse, it'll be able to retract, then you can unfold, and then the final retraction of our double piston extender is handled by these repeaters right here. So that's just about it for cool things that I wanted to explain in this door. As you can see, over here I've got a few demos. That was for soft inversion, but I trust you all know what soft inversion is by now. I guess I can still describe it anyways. So pretty much soft inversion is, on Bedrock Edition, if you put a torch on a piston, then power that piston in any way. This can be a direct power, or through a block, or even with another torch. The torch on the piston will turn off. And this happens regardless of whether or not the piston can extend. Just if the piston is powered, the torch turns off. So I've used that quite a lot in my compacted doors. You can see there's some soft inversion used right here, here, all through here. This area is just a big blob of soft inversion. So yeah, then there's double pulsing. I use that for the sides. So this right here is double pulsing. I sometimes call it the 3-tick method. An observer pulsing a piston, then an observer detecting that, running into another piston. It makes it so that the piston here powers for just long enough so that this one can be reliably powered by that lever. It's useful. It can help simulate piston spitting, but as you can see, it also is very delayed. And so I use that within the drawer to get some timings between the sides and bottom, because the slime here on the sides of the quad make it so that if these extend too quickly, the quad gets stuck, and if they retract too late, the quad gets stuck. So you have to have very, very delicate timings. As you can see, the quad is fully extended, and then the sides start to boot. And then the sides retract before the quad. It's just to keep everything smooth. So yeah, that's just about it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. I have a few other builds saved. I have 4 others, actually, and there's one of them. You'll be seeing a video on that one soon enough. But yeah, that's just about it for this video. I'm ViscoChrome24, and I'll see you next time.